Hey folks, good evening and welcome to Friday, a Saturday morning of course, out there in the far east. Hello to all the Aussie crew. Great news as well to hear about the massive respite that you guys have had. Apparently a third of the fires have now been extinguished as a result of the torrential rain that you guys have been having. So hopefully it won't go from one extreme to the other with floods. Hopefully it'll just put all the fires out and you guys can get back to normal. Of course, as well as that, all the wildlife can get back to normal. That's what's really important, as well as all you guys who are either homeless, of course, because of all the terrible fires. But anyway, I hope it's all working out for you guys out there in Australia. Now, listen, breaking news just come in. Just got an image in from Paul Hodgson. Not sure about the origination of the image, but apparently Iceland Air Boeing 757 has had a right gear collapse, a right main gear collapse out at Keflavik. For all you geeks out there, Tango Foxtrot, Foxtrot India Alpha is the reg of that Boeing 757. From what I can see, she's on the runway. It was whilst the aircraft was coming to a halt by the looks of it, due to the fact that the reversers on the number 2 engine are deployed, and also flaps are down, and the slats are also out. So looks like, from what I'm seeing, the image that I'm seeing, everything's all right. There's no fire or anything like that. It looks relatively relaxed, but it looks like all the passengers were still on the aircraft at the time that this image was taken. But by the sounds of it, everybody has got off the aircraft safely, and there are, by the looks of it, no injuries, other than, of course, to that poor old girl, that 757. Quite what will happen to her after that, because obviously when she lands with that, we've seen a couple of dodgy landings with Iceland Air. Apparently they do like to slam them on the deck. So who knows? And also, when we did put that piece out with that 767 landing at Heathrow, that sort of like dodgy landing, the guys in Iceland were very quick to come and say, hey, that's nothing. We get some really extreme winds here in Iceland. So that's nothing. We really do know how to handle the aircraft in high wind landing scenarios. So whether somebody just got caught out, we don't know. But it seems to me that obviously that right gear collapse is due to obviously just impact damage. So hopefully she'll be put back together again. But I wouldn't have thought so, just based on the fact that it is a 757 and it will probably cost a lot more. It'll probably be uneconomical to fix her, which would be a great shame, of course. But hopefully they will be able to repair her. Right, okay. Now, what a show we had on. It was actually Tuesday and Wednesday that we were in Lisbon, and what a fantastic. By the way, I don't know if I said it, but Paul Hodgson, thanks for sending that 757 image through. Yeah, what a great show we had on Tuesday and Wednesday out there in Lisbon. I want to say a big thanks and a big shout out to Marco and Francisco. Marco, thanks. You're an absolute legend for taking us around, mate. I can't thank you enough. And you're great company as well, and I wish you all the best with your channel as well. Just keep going, mate. I know it's hard work, but it's worth it in the end, and we look forward to catching up with you in the future. But that number, I think it was 4 position, if you go to spotterguide.net, number 4 position on at Lisbon, you'll see right next to the roll-on point there is a position there. The police are really good. We had smiley faces from them as they were strolling past, and no issues at all with them. They're very spotter friendly out there in Lisbon, so get yourselves out there. That position up on top of the hill is also fantastic for departures and also arrivals, but we only had a little bit of time up there on top of the hill before they changed the runway direction. But I have to say that number 4 position is probably the gnarliest position you've ever seen in terms of the roll-on point. Certainly gives Manchester a run for its money. And just to give you an idea of what you missed, in case you didn't see it, because we did actually cut it or Gilly did, cut together a little piece of the Emirates 777 rolling out. Of course, we had lots of other heavy stuff, A339s with TAP, the Angolan 777, the A350 with LATAM, only the second time that it's rolled out of Lisbon. But this 777-300ER with those big GE90 115Bs literally through the gate. Check this out. This is an awesome video. Enjoy it.
Well, I've got to tell you, if there was a vote that came out about your third favourite engine spooler, it's got to be the GE, and it's got to be the GE, man. I mean, you know, the Rolls-Royce, the Trents, you know, the Trent 1000s, the Trent 8s, you know, the 5s and the 7s and all that, but the GE90 and the 115, it kind of does, man.
How about that, folks? There's nothing better. I don't think there is anything better than a set of G90s spooling up. XWBs, all of that lot, fantastic, don't get me wrong, Trent 1000s, all of those guys, but really the General Electric GE90 engine is, there's nothing that beats it at this stage. I know you guys are going to say, what about a set of CF6s or RB211s on a 747? Yes, again, incredible spool up noise, but it's just the size of those fan blades, just the enormity of the engine, which really does impress people like me anyway. Okay, more avenues, let's get on with it. Of course, terrible circumstances. We got the news while we were actually in Lisbon about the Pegasus 737. Terrible circumstances behind that. Of course, so many people giving their their side of the story of it. Third such incident, identical incident to two other incidents. One was on the runway and the other one was literally on the runway, skidded off and went down an embankment. I personally think there were a couple of situations involved with this, and that was obviously communication between the tower and the pilots. Pilot training, surely that comes into it. Surely the systems on board the aircraft, were there not any parameter warnings? Landing with 1,000 feet or so of runway left, it's just not going to happen, even in dry conditions. So it just amazes me that the tower weren't a little bit more informative towards the pilots, even if the wind was changing direction literally as they were landing, because of, as well as you know, there was a tailwind. They were landing in a tailwind, and high tailwind as well. It wasn't just a breeze, it's extreme conditions they were landing in, lashing rain, high winds. To be honest with you, I saw an ACI recently where the pilots the problem with it was that the second in command, a co-pilot didn't feel that he had the authority to execute the go around, because the captain was just like, no, keep your hands off, whereas now I believe and understand that it's equal authority on board the flight deck. So I'm just surprised that a go around was not executed under those circumstances. And of course, as a result, 3 people losing their lives, which is absolutely terrible, and of course a lot of injuries on board as well. So more things to be learned. I would have thought by now that really people would have learnt their lessons, and Pegasus, it seems, need to improve their pilot training from what I can see, and maybe the authority on board the aircraft as well, just to if the first officer thinks, sod it mate, I'm gonna execute a go around just to save my life and deal with the consequences later, then really that's what he should be doing. But anyway, an absolute shame that happened, it has to be said. Right, okay, onwards and upwards. In talks with some air show organisers for 2020, folks. I know you guys keep asking during the show, please leave it with me. I'm talking with people, as you can appreciate, and as I keep saying, that obviously there are film companies in place already, have long-term contracts with the air show operators. We can't just go bowling in there and expect to be their live stream presenters. Although there are a couple of people who've approached us already this year who are very interested in using our capabilities, and of course myself as well, and that would involve bringing you guys, my audience, to all of that. Don't worry, whatever I do, guys, if an air show was to turn around to me and say, okay, we want you, but we don't want your audience, I'll say, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not interested, because this is all about you guys. My audience and my members especially go to support the channel, and so that's where my loyalties lie. With you, I would never go to sell out, so to speak, to an organizer and allow my streaming to be for their purposes only. If it didn't involve you, it just wouldn't happen. So, but let me work with those guys, and as soon as I hear anything, please, I'll let you know. Okay. Here's another one. This is quite interesting. A lot of you guys may or may not know. Of course, Airbus, Boeing kind of lead the way with the freighter fleets, with the 777s, with the 747s, and so on and so forth. However, Airbus, of course, have the A330. We've seen that with Qatar and a number of other operators as well, the A310, the A300. and of course, but we have heard and we've seen that the Airbus A321 is now very, very advanced in its way of becoming the cargo conversion aircraft. So there is a company called Valair who are planning to have the inaugural flight with Qantas in 2020. And the inaugural flight is in Singapore as part of the certification process to reach conversion approval status. The prototype 321 P2F passenger to freighter will add nearly 50% more capacity compared to Qantas's existing fleet and is due to be delivered in July 2020. So how about that? So great news, and we look forward to seeing that. There's a picture there that you can see the cutaway of that aircraft. Obviously, these aircraft are existing passenger CEO aircraft, and we wish them all the best with that one. That looks absolutely fantastic. There is like I say, the company which Valair, which I have got here. They're a company based in Luxembourg. They're the guys that are going to be converting these 321s from passenger into freight, and we look forward to seeing that, of course. Okay, on to A380 news. Now, guys, you know as well as I do, we love the A380. We always will. Of course, a lot of people have a lot of big passion in their heart for the 747 in terms of the jumbo aircraft, the jumbo jets, and she will always be the queen of the skies long after she's departed. However, Airbus, even though they had a momentous occasion, a historic occasion this week, with the last set of wings leaving Broughton in Wales, being shipped by land and sea down and then land again down to the southern France facility at Toulouse, which we go to and we visit regularly on a monthly basis, more often than not. Airbus have said in a quote, they will continue pleasing passengers on a global scale. In other words, regardless of the fact that the aircraft has come to its end in terms of production, it still doesn't mean that they're gonna forget about it. They've got a massive program in terms of maintenance and looking after the customer as well. So for many, many years to come, the A380, which is quite an interesting little quote for you, takes off or lands somewhere in the world every 2 minutes. An A380 will retain its status as a passenger-pleasing aircraft in years to come, thanks to Airbus's top-level support for the double-deck airliner and its continued use by operators around the globe. More than 300 million passengers have flown on the A380 since the aircraft service entry in 2007 with 330 plus flights performed each day by the global fleet, providing and of course we know that that's probably the majority of that is going to be Emirates, providing ample opportunity to travellers to enjoy the most spacious cabin in the sky. The A380 currently is operated on 150 routes, while 400 airports worldwide are A380 compatible. One of those not being Lisbon, it has to be said. However, we are hearing that Lisbon, with all the construction work that's going on there, are planning to facilitate the A380 in the future. So good news there from Airbus again, that they're going to continue to bring on a lot of support for the A380. Here's a good one, which I also mentioned on the show the other day, but obviously a lot of you guys haven't seen. Rolls-Royce, the Trent XWB, which is the exclusive engine that powers the A350. ETOPS certification, ETOPS meaning that if you lose one engine, you can fly for a certain distance. So basically it is certified for distances. So if you lose an engine halfway across the Atlantic. You have to go into an airfield that's nearest probably Greenland or the east coast of the US or wherever it might be. But you are certified on how well the engine performs with just one engine running on the aircraft. But I'm not reading this because I can't find the article, but I do remember hearing that Rolls-Royce basically, to certify, this is landmark certification for ETOPS, they basically ran an engine, one of their very own engines, for 3,000 trips with all the shafts inside the aircraft, inside the engine, unbalanced. So basically vibrating. Not massively out of balance, because obviously that would shake the thing apart. However, still unbalanced, and therefore creating a significant amount of stress on the engine. But they ran that for 3,000 trips, folks, without any changing of anything. Possibly maybe changed oil here or there. However, between trips, I don't know, because obviously the engine will need to be topped up with oil after that significant amount of trips. They maybe didn't, I don't know the full story behind it. However, what they did do was they stripped the engine down to all its components, around about 30,000 odd components, and laid them all out on a flat surface for the ETOPS certification crew to come and inspect it, and that was a success. So I'm not sure on what the range is, and I'll update you guys on that. Maybe you can update me on it, I don't know. But it is great news to hear how good and the quality of engineering that goes into these big fan engines now. So great to see that new certification for ETOPS with the XWB. Okay, here's a bit of a long-winded one. Airbus orders, folks. Airbus logged net orders in January for 274 commercial aircraft from its A320, 320 and A350 XWB production lines, in activity that included 2 new customers for the A220. And you know how much we love the A220. Additional market traction for the A320 and 321 as reference products in the single aisle segment, and further endorsements for the A350 XWB with repeat orders from 2 customers. During the month, 31 deliveries were made from the A220, 320 and A330 and A350 XWB aircraft families. Of course, we see a number of those when we're down in Toulouse with our members only, of course. The single aisle new business was led by the purchase finalisation by Spirit Airlines, which we all know about, which we've seen on our trips out in the US. Spirit Airlines of the US for 100 A320neo family aircraft, involving 47 A319neos, 33 A320neos and 20 A321neos. Neo meaning new engine option, so this is the new style of aircraft. And US-based Air Lease Corporation's 102 aircraft order for 50 A220-300s, 25 A321neos, Neo versions, and 27 A321 XLR, extra long range, basically meaning these aircraft have the capability of making long range trips, long haul across the Atlantic even. And they have become a new customer for this extra long range version, and that is Air Lease Corporation. Another single aisle transaction in January was the order from Philippine low-cost airline Cebu Pacific for 5 A320neo aircraft and 10 A321 XLRs, making it a new customer for the extra long range version. Completing the month's new single aisle business was Air Senegal's order for 8 A220-300s. Those are 220s, very popular aircraft and great looking as well. Not only are they very popular amongst operators, but a fantastic looking aircraft, and of course sounding as well. We call it the Wookiee at the moment, only at the moment, because they have that dry sound that we hear, which is so familiar with those Pratt & Whitney PW1700G engines on board that A220. Also during the month, 2 lessors acquired lease companies, obviously, being companies that will lease aircraft either on dry or wet lease out to operators if they've got an aircraft that they need to replace an aircraft that's AOG or what have you, acquired additional A320 family aircraft for their portfolios with China Aircraft Leasing Group Holdings Limited, CALC, signing a purchase agreement for 40 321 Neos, and Singapore-based Bok Aviation Limited placing a firm order for 20 A320 Neo aircraft. January's wide body orders involved A350 XWB acquisitions in the A350-900 configuration by 2 repeat customers, Air France, which signed for 10, and Air Lease Corporation, which signed for 1 aircraft. Air Lease, of course, again, being a lease company. But good to see Air France signing for 10. Of course, Air France and KLM linked together. They did a direct swap between the A350. Air France originally having the A350 on order, and they decided that they wanted to go. KLM went for the Dreamliner instead, and Air France went for the A350. Bonnet de douche. Okay, so that's all Airbus stuff. Now, this Airbus stuff that I do, the news that I do for Airbus is based on the email that they send me along with all the other medias in the world. And of course, I'm always happy to rattle that off. Boeing, on the other hand, folks, I am not an Airbus. I'm not all about Airbus. We love Boeing aircraft. It's simple as that. 747, 757, 767, 777. Of course, all those aircraft. We love them. We love them with a passion. The aircraft industry and the of course, 737, the aircraft industry, and of course us as aviation fans would not be the same without the Boeing aircraft. So all I can ask is if anybody knows any particular page or anywhere that I can get stats on Boeing deliveries on a monthly basis, I'd appreciate that, because I'm not getting anything at the moment. I went to Boeing Commercial. A lot of their stuff is out of date, I have to be honest with you. This one particular guy, Randy, who does a vlog, Randy's Journal, god damn it, his journal is massively out of date. The only stuff that I can get from his is the first quarter of 2018, which incidentally showed 17 747s on there. I'd imagine that is the Dash 8 variant. So if anybody knows anybody from Boeing that can give me monthly updates on their deliveries and orders, that would be fantastic, because I want to give you some love, because Boeing need the love. Okay, that's it. Now, what have we got coming up? Next week, don't forget, and I'll of course be doing an update on Tuesday about this, but next week I'm flying out to Chicago, and this is of course for members only. We're taking the members out to Chicago, the Windy City, and it's going to be snowing and freezing cold. It's going to be proper goggles weather, and looking forward to that. Of course, looking forward to meeting up the guys from Ord, the official group out there, plane spotters, and a great bunch of guys and a girl there as well, that are involved in that group, and it's going to be great to be meeting up with them. Also a YouTuber who a lot of you guys are fully aware of. I'll give you more information on this, on the people that I'm meeting up with on the next studio, but in terms of this Sunday, get this, we are expecting winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. This is a storm, Ciara, which has basically, last I heard was it's 1,700 miles across, folks. Incredible information coming from that. So in the afternoon, around about midday, winds are peaking around about the 55 mile an hour mark. Even in the morning, we've still got 47, 45, 48. The winds are gathering during the day. It's going to be drizzling in the morning, and then around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to start lashing it down. But so all I would suggest, folks, is you stay in, look after yourselves, be safe, keep the pets indoors. Maybe strengthen any fence panels that you've got a little bit loose in the garden, and tie some rope to that tree that's looking a bit dodgy. But really, guys, you need to be safe on Sunday. Some of my mates are going out on rides, which is just crazy. You guys are going to need to be careful because of branch debris and falling trees even, especially if you're riding through the woods. So look after yourselves, fellas. Some people ask me about the microphone and whether or not I've got anything to counteract the wind. As you can see there, folks, I do always, regardless of what conditions I have, whether they are windy or not, I always have this windsock on top of the or wind buffer on top of the microphone, along with the Durex on it for keeping it nice and dry. But other than that, and of course this is the camera equipment. She's already suited and booted and ready for complete dry conditions on Sunday. Nothing's going to stop me, folks. I'm telling you, we're up there. We did ask for a storm about a month ago. We're like, oh, we need a storm. It's like, you know, but we're going to get one which is sort of on the same level as the 87 storm in the UK. So we're looking forward to that. Guys, really appreciate your time on Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesdays, of course, all my members. Great feedback as well about how good the show was. Really enjoyed it. And we're definitely going to go back to Lisbon for sure in the summer. So we've got that longer. We're going to spend an entire day there right the way. I mean, I say an entire day. We did do 8 hours on the Wednesday, 6 hours, 14 hours in total. We brought our members from Lisbon, and what great fun we had as well. Great chat, great banter, lots of information. You guys, I really appreciate all the information that you give me while I'm live as well. I really do rely on that, and it is great to get it from you because, of course, I'm reading out your comments. So I need to know where aircraft are coming from, any aviation news that you've got, or historical stuff, or statistics, all that kind of thing, all the stuff that you get off Flight Radar 24 and all that. I really appreciate it. So listen, join me on Sunday. Not sure exactly what time I'm going to be live yet, but it is. We're going to get arrivals on runway 27 right. So I'm probably going to. Wow. Iran Air A300. Thank you to, what was his name? Amir, thank you. Around about 2 p.m. on Sunday. Iran Air A300 or 310. Quite rare to see that. We used to see it quite a lot, but yeah. So look forward to that if we can catch it on Sunday. But I'm going to be there. Obviously, I need to set up in the wind. That's the crazy thing, is setting up. Thing needs to be lashed down like you can't believe. I've got weights. I've got everything. I've got a support belt for me. We've got everything ready for Sunday, folks. So make sure, have a lie in and just put your feet up and watch me getting battered on Sunday on top of that van. I look forward to seeing you. Enjoy your Friday night. Drink responsibly and look after the animals. Be good to yourselves and everybody else. Take it easy. Thanks a lot. I'll see you Sunday. Cheers. Bye. Oh yeah, sorry. Don't go anywhere. Ha ha ha. Sorry. Yes. Right, folks, executive members, if you're aware of what we do on Big Jet TV, we have 3 tiers, well actually 4 tiers of membership: economy, executive, first class and super class. For our executive members, you guys get to see the exclusive premieres of our best of videos that we put out from our shows that we do with our members. Just to give you an idea of what it's like to be live on location for our European or international shows. We've done it before, as you've enjoyed it, and of course we get all of our regular members on watching it as well. So tonight we've got Madrid, and we're going to be showing that in around about 10 minutes, folks. So stand by your notifications if you are a member on Big Jet TV. This is a premiere for members only. And and that is executive members. Now, if you are an executive member and you're a little bit unsure about it, or maybe you know, a little bit unsure about commenting or anything like that, guys, please don't hesitate, don't worry about it. I'm going to be on there watching it with you. It's around about an hour and a half, hour and 25 minutes, something like that. I'm going to come on there, so I'll be with you, holding your hand, and we can watch that together. So if you're an executive member, put hashtag executive next to your comment if you come on there, so that I know that you are executive, and we will be there to answer any questions you've got, but more importantly, for you to enjoy the show. So thanks very much indeed. Again, executive and up. We will see you in around about 10 minutes. Other than that, everybody else, we'll see you Sunday. Take it easy. Bye. Am I done now?